What's happening with the tribe? It is Tall Chief here, bringing you some Modern Warfare 3 Spec Ops survival mode, and I think this is actually on some resistance. Hopefully you guys do enjoy. So let's go ahead and get started with the commentary. Actually, really quick, before we even get started, I wanted to sort of set this thing up. We were destroying. I mean, we were doing so great. We through this whole session, because I play Spec Ops in really long sessions, and I plan to actually play for about an hour of Modern Warfare, and you know, we were setting up. It was just doing really well, and then we got to wave 15, and he quit out. So you know, there's some really good stuff in here, and maybe you should watch the gameplay as well. But I know these are more like podcast type of things. You guys sort of tab out. You know, go to your random porn tabs, you know, whatever. I'm just saying. Let's go ahead and get into the commentary. So today, what we're gonna be talking about today, we're actually gonna talk about my experience with depression and what helped me get out of that whole depression loop. Now, I actually plan to make sort of a series about it and stuff, and you know, just to talk about it. But you know, I wanted to sort of set this series up, and I just wanted to tell you how long I had it and what ultimately helped me out. And you know, and then in the series, I want to sort of, you know, just sort of plan out and just show you why it happened. So let's go ahead and get started. So depression, it really hit probably about, I would have to say, when I was 9. It hit like at a super early age, and I think there's like really two types of depression. And two types of depression is a depression you get from really just something bad happening in your life, like something just terrible. You know, such as like somebody dying, or somebody, you know, just something bad or catastrophic happen as an event in your life. And then there's this some where it's just literally clinical depression, and you know, there's not really anything you can do about it. It just happens. But the great thing about depression, that it can be solved, it can be fixed. It does just take a lot of time, because you know, mind is a dangerous thing to play with. The mind is probably, you know, one of the scariest things ever, because the mind is something that can make you kill somebody, or you know, it's just a weird thing. But you know, I really got depression when I was 9, and it wasn't this one thing that just happened. And I think it was actually you know, it just was a cumulative thing. You know, just so many things happened at one time, and then I was like, fuck it, crash. And you know, it was just, it happened all at once, and it was just a bad period in my life. And you know, I'm actually just now getting over it. You know, there's so many things that just keep on happening. It's like, here's another slap in the face, here's another slap in the face, and you know, just so many terrible things have happened. And I can tell you right now, it made me do bad in school. You know, the depression just made me do bad in school. It made me just not care about life in general. And you know, I was like, at that point, I was like, you know, I don't really want to do school. And you know, it just makes me have such a negative outlook on life, and it makes you. And also, what I noticed about depression, it makes you think more. It makes you think way more internally. And usually, the people with depression, I've noticed, because I've known several people who had it. Usually the people with depression are some of the smartest people, and have some of the most interesting things to talk about and say, and you can have some of the most intellectual debates with these people. So you know, it's sort of interesting to sort of see, you know, some of the stuff that people have to say. I guess, and you know, it's really cool. And so if you know somebody with depression or something, you know, I would really just go up to them and sort of, you know, give them a helping hand, and not necessarily go up to them and talk about it. And don't go up to them and, you know, just show them, you know, oh yeah, I know how you feel too, I know what it's like. Don't do that. You know, you want to come in more understanding. I think that's actually one of the worst things you can actually even do. I actually learned that in health class. So, you know, one of the worst things you can do is go up to somebody and go, yeah, I know how you feel. That's just terrible. Don't do that. But anyway, as I was saying, you know, just meeting these people, and it actually really helped me come to a realization and sort of, just sort of plan my way out of depression. And that one thing is who gives a flying fuck? That is probably my motto for the rest of my life. Who gives a flying fuck? This also works if you're shy. It works if you're having trouble with certain things in life. This is probably the best motto ever. This helped me get through it. And the whole thing is, depression, it doesn't just affect the way, like, I guess people have this certain view on people who have depression, that they're just lazy, and not necessarily they're lazy because they're just lazy. It's just they're lazy because depression causes it. No, actually, what ends up happening is they go through this thing of, I don't know, it's just like they don't, I guess it's the state of not caring, and one of the main things that really goes through the mind of somebody who has depression is death, and at least that's what happened to me. And it tortured me. I mean, that was probably the thing that tortured me the absolute most. And I will be making a commentary on that probably right after this one. But the realization of who gives a fuck is actually the same thing that got me into depression, and it's the same thing that got me out of depression. So I mean, it just, doing that thing, and just it just helped me get through things, and it helped me become a better person. And also getting into things like I don't want to say sports, because sports, it sounds so cliche, but if you want to be athletic, if you want to do that, I know one of the main things that stop people from doing sports is the fear of not being accepted and being laughed at. And the truth is, it's funny. I mean, it's sort of embarrassing sometimes when you get laughed at and you do something wrong, and people, yeah, if you suck, people will talk about you. But some of the best things ever to do is to go and practice and come back and just own it up, and just own it up like I do at the games. But that is the absolute best thing to do, and don't fret over it, and just get joined into clubs, get joined in, and start doing things more proactive. Be more proactive. And one of the things I think the therapists should actually start doing is to actually start recommending YouTube to people with depression. I know it sounds crazy, but it actually does help people, and it's some of the weirdest thing that I've ever seen. It's people who had depression or have depression sort of get this sort of kick out of getting this audience and being able to talk to somebody, and it's sort of like this mini therapy. And I know this helped me. I know this absolutely did help me, and it's sort of weird. So I want to thank you guys for everybody who commented through this. I know this was a very, very long commentary, and you guys probably left a long time ago. Thank you for sticking around if you did enjoy. So thank you for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Also, please leave down below what you guys want me to talk about, or if you have a problem, go ahead and send it to me, and I'll do a commentary over it. So I will see you guys later, and goodbye. Alright guys, so QOTD. Have you ever experienced depression, or have you ever met somebody who had it, and what did you do to help or solve your problems? So thank you. So I will see you guys later, and goodbye.